how do you build the ultimate rock star team inside your gym, your studio, or your fitness facility? We really want to make sure that you understand kind of a couple of concepts when building this culture, this community inside your guys' gym. Because ultimately, if your staff is loving what they do, they're motivated to help your clients, it's going to create a domino effect, which will in turn help your business grow. So what we're going to be covering is, how do you build it? What does it look like to be able to have leadership and at the same time everybody going to the same goal? As I was going through life younger, I was putting myself through school, I worked a lot of jobs. Some were good and some were not so good. But I will tell you, for the ones that weren't that great, I learned a lot from that. I learned what not to do, especially to some of your clients, but as well as to your staff, because sometimes that gets overlooked. Sometimes they get taken advantage of, and sometimes they just stink. Let's be honest. We've had bad, staff that they just need to go. And it was a very eye-opening experience, going from one place to another as I was, going through school and whatnot. And it was interesting. I had this one job that really put my heart and soul into it. And it was funny because as I was there, they started, really kind of being mean almost. They were yelling a lot. And again, I didn't know what was happening on the back end. Well, now I do, but I didn't know at that point. And, you have to make bills, ends meet. But as that was happening, what started to happen was I started almost kind of getting, I wouldn't say taken advantage of, but I'm just kind of I try to be a nice guy. And, they were asking me to, to stay later and, oh, hey, can you do this? And, oh, wait, we're not going to pay you, or, whatnot. And it was tough. It was hard. And it was one of those things that it didn't create a good culture inside that business. And other staff members started getting upset. And then we had friction inside the staff, and it wasn't good because that friction boiled over into the clients, into the people that were coming into the business. And so really, I think that one of the biggest things for your facility, your gym, your studio, is to make sure that your staff is as healthy and as excited and motivated as possible. And one of the big things is making sure they have a clear vision. We'll talk about that in a second. But we have down below, it's called the Ultimate Team Framework. And we have a little worksheet that you can download. You can go through. I highly suggest it, because what it will do is help you look at each staff member. How can you encourage? What's their skill sets and whatnot? But at the same time, we also have 4 easy steps of creating the ultimate team. And the first one is having a centralized communication system. This is huge, because if your staff is on the same team and they're on the same page, then you're not going to have crisscross. And what I mean by that is, how many times have you contacted a client and the client goes, well, no, I've already talked to you, or I've already talked to one of your staff members, and now you're doing multiple of the same lines of work, and you're doubling your work and things that have already happened, but you didn't know that because you didn't have a centralized line of communication. Now, really, I think the biggest thing is understanding with that centralized line of communication that you want to be able to have kind of the 3 main communicational points inside that system. So you want to have the email, the SMS, and then also the calling, so that you can see exactly what you were doing, what you were saying, who said it, when did they say it. It's very important, especially as an owner, that you know exactly what your staff is saying to your clients. Now, we have another blog that you can watch and I go through that talks about who owns the communication, and I can link it down below. But really, that is a huge portion, because that communication is vital, and it's actually the difference between losing clients and keeping them as a staff member leaves. Because if they own the communication, if they're the ones communicating through their personal phones or their emails, and then that trainer or that coach leaves, and guess who has all that information? That coach. And later I'll tell you, I had someone leave, and my clients started going with them, and it was tough. I lost revenue, and that is hard, and I lost clients. So The first one, like I said, it's the centralized communication. The next one is gonna be leadership. Now what does that look like inside your facility, inside your gym? Well, ultimately, you are the top of the leadership. If you're the owner or the GM, your leadership skills are gonna get passed down. And I usually say this, the company is only as great as their leadership. So if your leadership stinks, well, maybe it's time to, start reading some books and kind of get into what does it look like to be a leader. Now, most of the time, if your leadership stinks, then you really won't know it until it's too late or somebody says something. So make sure that you understand the leadership of your gym. Who's in charge? And maybe it's not you, maybe you have a general manager. Are they great leaders? Are they able to motivate the staff? Because if the staff is motivated, then your clients are gonna get motivated. I think about it like this. Have you ever seen like a motivational speaker and they're up front and they're trying to motivate people? If they came out and they looked like, hey, I just wanna tell you to keep doing a great job and just keep doing what you're doing, and you're not gonna get motivated. It's the same with your staff. It's the same with your clients. You gotta have people that love what they do and they're motivated to do it, because not every day is gonna be, sunshine and roses. It's gonna be sometimes tough. Everybody, has issues that they're going through. And so you need your leadership to be strong so you can motivate your staff, which in turn will motivate your clients. So like I said, you don't want a motivational speaker that can't motivate. You wouldn't listen to them. You want someone that's energetic, that loves what they do, and that they're passionate of what they do. So that is step number 2. What's your leadership look like? Step number 3, your where and your why. Where did you come from and where are you headed? And why are you headed there? A lot of times, your staff won't know that. They won't know your back history of you starting your facility or your studio or your gym. Some might, but I would say the ones that I've worked with and seen and helped these gyms grow, a lot of times their staff doesn't really know where you came from and where you're headed. So really make sure you have a clear vision of where you're headed, and then what's your why? And why are you doing this? Are you doing it to help people? Are you doing it to be a bajillionaire? Or do you ultimately love what you do? Again, that's up to you. I can't answer that. But that is step number 3, your where and your why. And then the last but not least is your command center. I kind of touched on this at the very beginning with your centralized communication, but your command center. Where are you storing all the communication, all the notes, all the information about your clients in one place? Are you having follow-up tasks that are created? Because ultimately, you can do it by yourself at the beginning, but if you want to grow and expand, you have to have a place that you can store all this information, and you have the different features to be able to send out text messages, emails, automated campaigns with text message emails and follow-up tasks, calling feature that goes out, forms management, referral management, client portal. You want to have this in one place. You don't want to have 6 or 7 or 8 tabs open trying to do something, because that's tough on the client. That's really hard on the client. What am I saying? The staff member. It's tough on the staff member because they got to have all these different logins. They have to learn each one, but at the same time, it's tough on your budget. Because if some of these systems are very expensive, and if you start adding them up, it kind of will become expensive to be able to have these different systems, but they're all spread out. And you're jumping from one tab to the next tab, to the next tab, to the next tab. You know what I mean. Some of you guys might be doing it right now. So having a centralized command center so your staff can log in, you know exactly what they're saying to your clients, what they're doing, and you own the communication. But at the same time, you're creating this environment, this culture where they feel loved, where they feel accepted, and where they feel like they can thrive. And they get motivated to serve and help your clients. Anyways, guys, that's Austin. I'm Austin with FitPro Tracker, and that's all that I have for today. If you have any questions, down below, don't forget, we have that. It's called the Ultimate Teamwork worksheet. Kind of goes through those 4 steps, as well as a worksheet down at the very bottom. Download it, use it. I highly suggest to do that because your staff is vitally important to your business, and you want to know and get to know them as best as possible, and they need to get to know you. So again, it's Austin with FitPro Tracker. We're always here to help, and we can't wait to one day talk with you. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.